Now, what we did with this next record was we pretty much just, it's kind of like what you said, like Vices Like Vipers. Like, we walk on stage before we can even start our set. It's like, play Vices Like Vipers. And we're like, all right. We have other songs too, but we kind of just took that into consideration. We're like, dude, this is the song that everyone wants to hear. Let's try to write 10 Vices Like Vipers. Like, let's try to, what people like about Vices was the sing-along choruses, the cool breakdowns, and we were just like, let's just write 10 songs with like catchy parts that repeat, something that kids can latch onto, and something that like might be borderline kind of controversial, you know, to where it's like, make people think. I mean, there's Christian bands out there that just talk about the same old stuff, God this. We're kind of like the band that I feel like, as opposed to getting up there and saying, hey, this is how you do it. This is what it means to be a Christian. Look at us. Follow our example. We're kind of getting up there with the mentality like, hey, check us out. We're 5 of the biggest screw-ups that we know. Learn from our mistakes. Please don't hold us to any sort of high standard, because we're going to let you down, you know? That's one thing that I know with O Sleeper. Like, we get up there and we're like, dudes, like, if you love God, cool. If you don't, we hope you like the music. We hope you get something out of it. If you came to the show just to freaking mosh and to see a rock show, you get that. If you want something more, come talk to us, you know? And not so much preach from the stage, but more or less let our lyrics do the talking and make kids wonder, you know? Make Christians think outside the box and be like, this isn't what normal Christians talk about, you know? Like, pornography. You know, like, we're not supposed to talk about porn. We're not supposed to talk about lust. We're not supposed to talk about drinking.
And upside down churches.
Yeah, man, there's just a lot that people don't talk about. And we're a bunch of dudes. We're not really religious dudes. We're just a bunch of dudes that love God, and we're trying to somehow be a good impact on people, you know, whether we disappoint people because we're real and we're ourselves or not, you know. That's just what we do.
O Sleeper can do that because Micah is a genius and really writes thought-provoking lyrics.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, dude, the thing with Micah, man, like, even when we were in the studio, I was just like he would come and show me lyrics before he would go track them, and I'm like, dude, how do you come up with this stuff? Like, the stuff you're talking about, like, blows my mind, you know, like legitimately blows my mind, and I don't even understand how he comes up with this.
I got an idea.
What's your idea?
While you're taking naps at the bookstore, he's reading the book.
No. Here's what happens. Here's what happens. While I'm taking naps at the bookstore, Micah's reading about castles, orangutans, medieval weapons. I don't know. Funny thing about Micah is Micah can sit there and watch Jimmy Neutron and Rugrats and all the cartoons that we all grew up loving, and then come up with these like insanely in-depth, thought-provoking lyrics that the coolest thing about being O Sleeper for me is that, like, kids come up and like, man, your lyrics changed my life, and I want to be like, Micah's lyrics changed my life too. I mean, like, I'm a part of a band that speaks to me, you know? Like, I'm a part of a band that the lyrics affect me just as much, I think, as our fans, you know? Like, I'll read our lyrics, I'll be like, oh, dang, like, that freaking, he was talking to me on that one, you know? And there's a line in one of the new songs that says, it's from a song called In All Honesty, and it says, I don't want to be the father who has to watch his daughter be conned and stripped bare by a monster like me. God put me to sleep. And I read that and I was just like, dude, I don't know where you come up with this stuff, but I think kids' lives are going to be wrecked, like, on this new record. I really do. I think whatever happened with When I'm God that got the ball rolling, I think it's going to be that times 20 with this new record, you know? I think it's more controversial. I think it's going to make people think more. I think it's a little edgier or whatever you want to call it, but I think at the same time, I think people are going to step out of this Christian comfort zone box and be like, I mean, yeah, it's cool to go to youth camp for a week and get so pumped on Jesus, come home, burn all your secular CDs, and then a week later you're sitting there going, okay, well, now I'm back in the real world where all this stuff exists, and you can't escape it, you know? And so let's be real. Let's be real what we go through on a daily basis, you know? Like, it'd be cool to go home and burn all your secular CDs. My favorite CDs are secular CDs. Oh Sleeper wouldn't be a band if there was no such thing as secular CDs. You know?
Christians should make better music.
Christians should make better music. That's my problem with Christian music. Is to me, it's like there's always the Christian alternative to some secular band that does it better. Why? Like, do your own thing. Like, there's
Now,
bands
those
out there that
times
have
have
already
changed a
done that.
lot. There are a lot of
There's a
good
lot
Christian
more.
bands.
There are a lot more. But
But
when I was
still
growing
not
up,
really pushing the limits like O Sleeper
Yeah.
is. Now y'all are blessed because you have Shane and you have Micah and y'all
Yeah.
are able to push those limits, but fans aren't pushing the limits.
nope. And I mean, dude, when I was growing up and I listened to to Christian music, it was always that. Oh, dude, for fans of Tool, A Perfect Circle, Deftones, Korn, and I'm like, why would I listen to this when this band does it better? You know, I mean, yeah, the lyrics are more positive, but they're just kind of ripping off that band, you know? So, I mean, cool, dude. If you want to be a band that sings about God, if you want to be a band that sings about, you know, castles and stuff, like, just do it and make it your own thing, you know? It's a joke in our band because we, like, never fails. We walk on stage and we're plugging in our stuff and people are like, Vices Like Vipers. And I'm like, dude, I'm convinced that if we played Vices Like Vipers 5 times, these kids would be pumped. You know? And I know the people who are really fans of the band, they love all the songs, you know, but it's undeniable that when we play that song versus any other song, kids freak out. And so we notice that. I mean, we know, like, that's why we shove it to the end of the set, you know, because that's really what everyone's waiting for. So with this record, hopefully when this record comes out, I feel like we wrote 10 Vices on this record. So I hope everyone agrees, you know, and this record can be like 10 songs that everyone freaks out to and everyone can sing along to and everyone can like. You know?
But y'all do have a core group of fans that, you know, would much rather hear Charlatans host 10 times.
And I say we tried to write 10 Vices Like Vipers, but the truth is, if I could sum up Son of the Morning, the heavier parts are 10 times heavier than When I Am God. The singing is 10 times catchier than When I Am God. The music is 10 times more technical than When I Am God, but it's also way more structured and thought out and intelligent. So people who do like the heavier, chaotic, reaping songs or whatever, there's that times 10. I mean, we have a new drummer who just loves drums more than I could love anything in the world. That's all he does, and he loves just playing drums. And he came up with some of the coolest stuff that I've ever heard of, heavy music.
Son of the Morning has a beat I've never heard before.
Son of the Morning has a beat that I can barely play live, and that I couldn't play up until the time we left for this tour, and I can kind of play it live now, but every time that part comes at night when we play, I just dread it. I'm just like, man, I can't play this song. There's other songs, man. There's a song on the record that we started playing on this tour called World Without a Sun, and then I call it Matt's show-off song because the drums on that song are completely ridiculous, you know. And it's the heaviest O Sleeper song we've ever written. Super heavy, you know. And I think any O Sleeper fan is gonna love Son of the Morning, and I think they're going to love it more than When I'm God. And that's a bold statement, but I stand by it, you know.
Right, me as a child.
The Lord of the Shred.
I just got that for my mom, and that was me when I was a kid. My first guitar. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, Sleeper, all the way, baby.
Buy it from us if you can.